How y'all doing? So Dreamland, The Burning of Black Wall Street is on CNN right now. Executive producers were LeBron James and Maverick Carter. But I'm gonna tell you something. It doesn't matter how you present it, it's important that it's presented. The racist school system whitewashed this from schools. They did not teach this in school. A lot of people who lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma didn't even know about it. It was legalized lynching. And it shows you a history of successful black businesses, successful black folks in the community, the Greenwood area, all walks of life. And then a false acquisition, which was prominent back in the day, got black folks killed, lynchings, etc. Now, this has happened all across America. There have been other places that were black thriving businesses. You wouldn't know it because a lot of places get whitewashed or they get segregated. And this was during segregation, which wasn't that long ago. Jim Crowism is alive and well, institutionalized, systematic racism all walks. Because if it doesn't teach you, you never know. If it doesn't explain anything, you never know. And people are reluctant because of retribution, even though they claim to be Christians. See, it just really plays on your mind when you see it. They were trying to have some type of celebration for that. You can't celebrate this. Anybody who's a descendant or relative or still alive from this deserves reparations. Tulsa, Oklahoma needs a good cleansing. They need to repent. They need to pay all the people who are either alive or have family because of this massacre. They should be paid in reparations. Joe Biden don't do no lip service, cut checks because it's long overdue. There needs to be a day of reckoning for this. And I say this in all across the United States with its racist self, that there were other places that were black owned and operated had because of segregation. You know, when you say Black Wall Street, let me tell you something. Without Black Wall Street, there is no Wall Street in New York. Everybody has benefited off of segregation, slavery with black folks. Before you can have anti-Asian, anti-this and that, you better deal with black folks. Because that has been the root of what has been able to keep this lie going. And when you see documentaries like this, they are a reminder of a not so distant past. 100 years ago is not that long ago. And you still see remnants of it affect. When you see these cops lynching black folks during the Black Lives Matter era, you still seeing it going on very well. You've seen it very well. You've seen in the last decade from Obama, Trump, Biden, and you've seen the same cop lynch mob. So though they're not burning businesses per se, they are executing people. And that is the reality of what you see. So it's very important that when you see documentaries, specials, and shows that are trying to educate and enlighten, that you take heed to these situations because they were not presented in schools. And a lot of places that are even in those particular places did not have access to knowing about their own city. How would you feel living in a city or a state or a place that you walk by and you did not know that was once a thriving African American community? And I say this to say perception of black people is like the only way to be what you know or what you don't see. But for all the ones who don't see it and only see it on TV or see it from far away, what would that do to your mental psyche? This is very important to see this. But the dreamland turned into a massacre. And that is the ugly reality that has lingered. It's a dark cloud that lingers. And how do you remedy the situation? What do you do? How do you really right the wrong? You see. And I say between reparations and you rewrite the history books. See, because America's got a lot of reckoning to do. A lot of reckoning. And believe me, Their day is coming. This pandemic is just the start because it's a spiritual cleansing of institutionalized segregation, racism, Jim Crowism, and everything that has been used as a means to whitewash and to legalize genocide, a race of people. This is a very important documentary. All of them about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and any town you live in. You'd be very surprised to find out the African American what the impact of it 100 years ago. But this Jim Crow, the way they prospered off of the separate but equal in its political size now. Think about the electoral college vote, which is chained to slave owners. Think about what Texas is doing right now. See, they're not coming out burning you, but they're taking things away, which is the same thing. That's systematic racism. It's institutionalized. They don't always have to come out and burn a cross in front of you and wear sheets. They come in three-piece suits and a smile. And they sign papers and they tell you what they're going to do with white privilege. It's done differently now, but it's still an offshoot of the Jim Crowism. But anyway, this is a very important piece to watch. Dreamland, The Burn of Black Wall Street. Only 100 years ago. And believe me, when I say only, we're still dealing with the fight. The fight ain't over. That's my thoughts and takes about Dreamland, The Burn of Black Wall Street, which is on CNN. Please watch. And if you can get enlightened, I welcome thoughts and comments on it. It's very important because the school system in America has whitewashed things far too long.